massive headache of the shiny debacle during Dragon Week is something that Pokemon Go players are going to remember for a while, especially the players who spent $50 to $100 on incubators trying to hatch Deino from 7K eggs. As an average player myself, not quite casual, but not quite hardcore, Dragon Week was still disappointing. I was only able to catch 3 Gibble and hatched 0 Deinos. The only Deinos I got were through the special research task. And from hearing complaints from the more hardcore players who, dumped a lot of money into Dragon Week playing it, and also, the casual players as well who usually don't really spend that much money on mobile games, I was extremely interested to see both sides of the extreme of the player base complaining about pretty much the same thing, that the shiny drops during Dragon Week were not that good. Dragon Week, a week that we, the players, spent $15 during GoFest and played all throughout GoFest to unlock. Now, I understand that Niantic is trying to make money on their incubators. They're a business, but I firmly believe, as an average player myself, that you should not have to spend money in mobile games to have a good time. And with all of these things spinning throughout my head, I thought of something. I should do a little experiment. I've always argued that the average player in Pokemon Go should not have to spend a ton of money to have fun and shouldn't stress out about having to spend money or not. Well, Enigma Week is just about to start. This is the perfect time to put this to the test. So here we go. I'm gonna play through Pokemon Go's Enigma Week and try to achieve a set goal: to catch as many shinies as possible, particularly Staryu, and not spend any money in the game, and plays as much as I believe an average player would. The average player being someone who plays the game frequently but also maintains a social life and a work life. And like any challenge would, mine has a set of 6 rules that I put in place, which I believe will produce the most reasonable, unbiased results, both to the game and in regards to players. Rule number 1, I'm required to take 2 rest days during the week. The reason behind this is because the average player has stuff come up during the week where they can't play, whether it be family matters, work matters, or just being too tired to play that night. Rule number 2, I have to play for a minimum of 2 hours per day for every day I play. This is to be fair to the game. However, I am not allowed to exceed 3 hours of playtime in those same days, because I feel like the average person, who comes home from work around 5 or 6 o'clock only really has a reasonable 2 or 3 hours to play before they get too tired or gotta go to bed to wake up the next morning. Rule number 3, no spoofing or cheating allowed. I'm not even gonna explain this one. Don't spoof, y'all. It just ruins the game for other people. Rule number 4, I cannot spend money to buy Pokecoins. Any Pokecoins that I want to use during Enigma Week have to be earned through gameplay and battling gyms. While the average player may be cool with spending money in the game, this rule has to exist because it's crucial to the point I'm trying to prove through the experiment, that we shouldn't have to spend money to catch at least 1 shiny. Rule number 5, I can only use a maximum of 2 incense and 2 lures that I currently own during the Enigma Week. Any other incense or lures I want to use have to be purchased through the shop by using Pokecoins only earned through gameplay. The way I see it, maybe the average player doesn't have a ton of incense or lure stocked up, so why should I be able to use a lot? And rule number 6, regarding incubator purchases with Pokecoins earned through gameplay, I'm gonna only allow myself 1 emergency incubator purchase if I choose to do so. As players, we should not be expected to purchase 20 to 30 incubators by spending money in the game in order to have a decent chance of catching a shiny. The odds should not be that stacked against us. So the point of limiting my incubators is that I want to prove that Enigma Week, unlike Dragon Week, does not have this as the case, that we can get shinies fairly through gameplay without spending a ton of money on incubators. So there you have it. That's the journey we will be embarking on for the next 7 days. I'm not gonna lie, I'm pretty excited for how this week is gonna unfold, and I bet you are too. So let's just get right down to it. I'll see you all tomorrow for Magikarp Day. Day 1 of this challenge started off with me going to my favorite cluster spot near my house. I needed to maximize the amount of spawns I would get if I wanted the best chance of catching shinies. It didn't take too long until I saw an Elgyem raid, which is one of the more interesting featured Pokemon during Enigma Week, so you better believe that I hopped right into it. It didn't take long before the Elgyem was defeated and shoved right into my Pokeball. Back to catching I went, and the Magikarp came in loud numbers. Many invaded my screen and quite a few of those were shinies. See, why can we get so many shinies on community days but featured weeks run dry of them? It just doesn't make any sense. Not too long after my Elgin raid, I got an invite to a Deoxys raid. Since that was the featured legendary of Enigma week, and I didn't have one yet, you best believe I spent a remote raid pass on that, as I had an extra one stocked right up. After defeating and catching the Deoxys, back to hunting I went. Magikarp after Magikarp popped up on my screen, and enough shinies popped up to keep me pushing forward. At one point, a 2-star raid appeared in my area. Knowing that some unknown Pokemon would be appearing in 2-star raids, I sat and waited for it to hatch. Unfortunately, it was only a Gothita raid, but it was a Pokemon I didn't have yet, so I decided to do the raid anyways. While catching Magikarp, I ran into my first Staryu spawn of Enigma week. It wasn't a shiny, but just seeing it in the wild was enough to get my hopes up, as I now knew that it wouldn't be as rare as Gible and Deino from the week prior. Eventually though, the heat got to me and the boredom set in. I tried making some friends as I played, but that didn't go too well. Do you like to play Pokemon? I don't like that noise, okay. Just like that, day 1 had come to an end. After around 2.5 hours of hunting Magikarp, I caught around 150 total. Out of the 150 Magikarp, I narrowed it down to 14 that had at least a 3-star IV and were worth thinking about evolving. From those 14, 4 were insanely good and 2 were near perfect. You're damn right I evolved those 2 into a Gyarados to get that special move, Aqua Tail. Unfortunately, from all the shinies that I was able to catch, I couldn't evolve any into a shiny Gyarados due to me running out of candies. But that doesn't mean it wasn't a productive day. So it's the end of day 1 of this little experiment into Enigma week. Being that today was Magikarp day, I caught 150-ish, around 150 Magikarps in total, 14 of which were shinies. Funny enough, I popped an incubator when I got home to get some more Magikarp candies so that I could, evolve 2 Magikarps into Gyarados instead of 1. Turns out that the incubator lasted for 3 hours. I don't know if it was just the Ultra Unlock doing that, or the Magikarp day doing that, or both of them combined doing that, but a 3-hour incubator is insane. You could have done this day completely from home. Being that I was walking, not walking, I had to stop so many times to catch clusters of Magikarp because I didn't spend money on a gacha. That's the point of this experiment. I was only able to hatch 1 7k egg, and I got a Trapinch. What? I thought Dragon Week was last week. Why am I getting Trapinches from 7k eggs? But, I mean, I don't know. I have another one queued. I'm going to try and hatch it off tonight. In terms of Enigma Week Pokemon, I was able to get 2 LGM, I think that's how you say it, today. I did a total of 3 raids today, 1 remote pass, and 2 of the free passes are the ones that I used. Now, I still have my incense going. Probably can't see it because the screen's so dark. I have 2.5 hours. I'll be monitoring that basically all night to see if I get anything. If I can take anything out of day 1 today, the community day, I can say that, for community days, the shiny rates, the shiny drop rates have always been amazing. I've never had a problem with shiny drop rates for community days. Think about it, I played for 2.5 hours today and got 14 shinies, which was not even half of community day. If I had played all 6 hours, I would have gotten probably 20, 25 shinies at that rate. What I don't understand, and this was the thing with Dragon Week, is how rare, how incredibly rare the Deino drops from 7k eggs were being. The thing is, I caught 14 shinies today, and not a single one of them is really usable in PvP. So if you use the argument that, oh, they're not, drowning us with shiny Deinos because they want to make it fair for the meta and they don't want, all of the extremely rich players that bought 5,000 incubators to get 100 of them and have amazing... The thing is, with shiny Pokemon, how many shiny Pokemon have you caught that actually have a usable IV? Not a lot. But do you get what I mean? It doesn't... The logic is not there. The only reason that you could argue that Deino was so rare to hatch from 7k eggs was because they wanted to sell incubators. That was it. They were trying to get us to spend money. But at least hopefully we'll have better chances of catching shiny Staryus because they'll be in the wild. They won't be locked behind 7k eggs and impossible to catch. But anyways, that's day 1. Like I said, those low Deino drops, inexcusable. I will continue documenting my progress throughout the week, starting tomorrow on day 2. Alright, day 2. currently opening the app to see what happened overnight and see if we get any spawn pop-ups. Maybe we'll get a shiny Staryu right now. So we get a Staryu that is not shiny. So, 2 problems right now. 1 problem. We are almost out of Pokeballs. I currently have, after catching that Staryu, 2 Ultra Balls, 1 Great Ball, and 1 regular ball. So we need to find a way to get more of those. Luckily, it is Sunday today, meaning tomorrow we're going to be getting the rewards for the walking, you know, the kilometer rewards. Actually, almost forgot about my daily free box, so I'm going to go exchange that and get 3 more Pokeballs, which is nothing. I also noticed we have 176 Pokecoins, meaning that we earned quite a bit of Pokecoins yesterday. Holy crap, we actually still have a Snorlax in one of the gyms that is looking like he needs some attention. So we're going to go give him a berry. Give him a golden Raz. Just to make sure that he stays in there as long as possible. We're also going to give a golden Raz to the Charizard that is in there with him. Because here's the thing, I want to hold on to that until tomorrow so that we can get 50 more coins, but I could also battle gyms today. It doesn't matter. I got off track though. Problem number 2, we have basically no 7K eggs. I'm looking at my eggs right now. I have 4 5Ks and 4 2Ks. Now, here's the thing. The 5Ks are going to be very hard to walk off. So the only really thing I could see us doing to fix this problem is to get rid of all of our 2Ks. Now, here's the thing. To do that, I'm not going to be able to spin any stops until I get this whole thing resolved and I get the 2Ks replaced with 7Ks from opening gifts. So we got quite a bit of stuff to do today. Thankfully, it's a Sunday, and while I do have a lot of stuff to record and a lot of stuff to edit, I can maybe squeeze in about 2 hours, 2.5 hours of time to start walking these off, which I think will be enough time. So let's get to doing that. Immediately after opening the app, I remembered that I had saved a field research task to claim so that I could get the special research for today, which would give me a Scraggy. I went in and claimed it, and it gave me 20 Pokeballs. I completely forgot it could give me that. That would certainly come in handy later. But off I went to walk off some eggs. I knew that my 4 2-kilometer eggs would be relatively easy to walk off in a day, but I had to be careful. There was a Pokestop and a gym along the route I picked out, and I'd have to make sure that I didn't swipe them. If I did, they would replenish my egg inventory with more 2-kilometer and 5-kilometer eggs, giving me even more which I needed to walk off. This put me in a tricky situation. My Pokeball count was not great, and I knew that there would be Enigma Pokemon spawning along the route I was walking, so I really had to limit my catches to not run out of Pokeballs. It would require restraint on my part, but I knew I was capable of it. Alright, so here we are, we're at the mile-ish / kilometer long flat stretch of like road that's near where I live, and we're gonna walk up and down this road to hatch our eggs. And I'm gonna stop talking into the camera because people probably think I'm a schizophrenic, so let's just do this. And so I started walking up and down the mile-long stretch of road. It would be a pretty monotonous task, but it was one that needed to be done. Luckily, I exercise regularly, so the walking wasn't too taxing for me to do. But I'm sure for the average person, all of the walking required to hatch off these 7Ks would be murder for their legs. Back and forth I walked, catching the few Enigma spawns I saw, some of which being Staryu, but none of them being shiny. I'll admit, it was super tempting not swiping on the Pokestop and gym I was passing, but it would pay off in the long run. Sometime during my walking, I noticed that I had gotten another invite to a remote Deoxys raid. Technically, I could have spent my Pokecoins, which were earned through gameplay, to buy another remote pass to do the raid. But Deoxys wasn't that great, and I decided to pass on the raid as I already had one. After an hour of walking, I was able to hatch the 7-kilometer egg that had already been in one of my incubators, as well as walk off 2 of the 2-kilometer eggs. I got a third close to being walked off, but didn't quite finish it, as it was time to go home. Alright, so it's 5:10 right now. I know I said I'd only be out here till like 5, so I went 10 minutes over, so that's an hour, 10 minutes of play. I did not hatch nearly as many of the 2K eggs, I should say, that become 1Ks as I thought I would. That's a shame, but today's my day where I exercise, so I'm going to be jogging later tonight to see if I can hatch any more. So let's head home and rest up. You can probably hear it right now, all the sounds of nature going on around me. It's nighttime,
close to 11 o'clock. It's humid as hell. Usually takes me about 20 minutes to go running, so let's get it over with. Oh my gosh. I've probably burned so many freaking calories as a result of this challenge. So good news. I managed to hatch both of the 2K eggs. So we have 5 open egg slots. Right now that means we can get 5 more 7K eggs. And tomorrow we can start spinning Pokestops again. That's amazing. Now any notable things that happened, I guess I could say doesn't matter. I caught a Tepig and a Luvdisc as a result of that egg hatching, and then I also saw a Bronzor in the wild. It's the first one I've seen, and it's being featured in Enigma week, so that's a thing. I don't know. But anyways, that wraps it up for day 2. So we'll see you guys on day 3, where we're gonna figure out what the hell we're gonna do. Let's go inside and get some rest. So day 3, I woke up this morning to a notification from Pokemon Go that said, you burned a ton of calories this week, let's see your reward. So here we go. I walked 32.4 kilometers this week. I hatched 15 eggs this week and only found 5 candies. That doesn't seem right. I don't know. And then 7,858 calories. That's a lot of calories. Let's claim the reward. So from this, we're going to get, just X out of that, 10 Great Balls, 20 Pokeballs, and I think there was 3 Great Candies. Didn't really get to see. I'll see in post. That now puts our total of Pokeballs at 30 normal, 13 Great, and 2 Ultra. That's not awful, but I think we could be in a much better spot considering today we have to do some serious catching. Being that Magikarp Day was the first day, technically, first full day of Enigma week, that day was kind of wasted, you know? Most of the stuff you're finding were Magikarp. I wasn't seeing a lot of Enigma Pokemon. I didn't get to catch a lot of them. And then yesterday, I spent most of the day just walking off eggs in preparation for the rest of the week, so I had enough 7Ks to possibly get a shiny Staryu. Today, I feel like the priority should be, first of all, we gotta find a way to get more Pokeballs. Now, the tricky part about that is that I have to make sure I don't hatch any of my 7K eggs, because if I open up an egg spot and swipe a Pokestop, it could give me another 2K, and then I gotta walk that off in order to make room for another 7K. But enough blabbering, I have quite a bit to do today other than Pokemon. You know, I got my life to live, I got grocery shopping to do, I got job hunts to do. So I have to fit in 2 to 3 hours of play today. Let's see if we can do it, folks.
The plan for day 3 was simple. I was getting burnt out from the spawn cluster I went to on Magikarp Day, so today I was gonna find a new spot much closer to my house. While this spot wouldn't be as good, it was definitely a nice breath of fresh air. But before we did that, I decided to go down to the gym we passed while walking the day before. I wanted to earn some more Pokecoins, and in order to do that, I had to take over a gym. So off I went to battle, and naturally it was pretty easy. I find that no matter how good the Pokemon are in a gym, there really isn't a gym battle I can't beat. After winning, I threw a Wigglytuff in the gym and headed over to the new catching ground.
Alright, so here we are. We're at another little cluster area that I usually catch at that's really close to where I live. I don't have to waste too much gas getting here, but oh my god, it is so freaking hot. It's reading 100 degrees in my car. I was afraid of this. It's August. And I have to play during the day because I edit at night and stuff. But my AC is literally failing. I'm going to have to get out of this car pretty soon. Anyways, I think today what we're going to do here is we're going to get some more Staryu. There's a lot. When I came in, there was like 3 or 4 that popped up. So we're going to catch them. We're going to do a raid that's going to pop up here soon. I think it's a 3-star. And we're just going to try and hatch some of these eggs. And we're going to play till probably 5:15. So anyways, let's get to catching before I freaking suffocate in this car from the heat.
I wouldn't have a ton of time to play, as dinner time was approaching, so I knew I'd have to make the most out of my play. Right away, I got to catching. For a good hour, I walked and caught Pokemon, seeing many Staryu and other Enigma Pokemon, but my shiny luck just wasn't improving. There was literally nothing I could do. All there was to do was hope for a lucky drop that was completely out of my control. As dinner time grew near, I decided to call it quits and head back to my car, which is when I was hit with a surprise. Another Deoxys invite. While the day prior I had turned down a Deoxys raid, for some reason today I decided to join it. I could use the XP and another Deoxys wouldn't hurt, right? The raid was going super well, with plenty of players fighting with me. I was about to take the victory when... Of course I get a call right now. Despite the call, I was still able to finish the raid. Although my game became laggy and the Deoxys was giving me trouble, I managed to catch it somehow. It was even down to the wire. I had only one Pokeball left, but that was all the time I had to play at the moment, so I headed home with no shinies. Again.
Oh, okay, so it is currently 9:15 at night. We were out poke hunting from 4 to 5:15. Now, here's the thing. That's only about an hour 15. I think it was more like an hour 20. And then I had about 10 minutes at the grocery store earlier this morning. So that evens out to about an hour and a half. We have not yet hit the minimum time needed of play today. So here was the plan. I was thinking of going to this spot kind of near my house where there's 2 Pokestops. And these 2 Pokestops are literally right next to each other. I could pop both my lures tonight and catch an insane amount of Pokemon, keep spinning the stops, and get basically unlimited Pokeballs for a short amount of time. Here's the catch. I just had to bring my car in for inspection. So I don't have it right now, which means that I'm going to have to walk to this spot, which is about 1.5 miles away. It's possible, definitely possible to do, and it's going to be good because we're going to be able to walk off some of the eggs from going there and back, but it's going to take a lot of time with just walking. So I might not get home until like 11 or 12, but you got to do what you got to do for the experiment. Let's head to catch some more Pokemon and get a shiny Staryu, hopefully. Let's go, guys. Yeah. Alright, so here we are, sitting on a bench near a major road with a bunch of cars passing by, so I look like an idiot talking to myself. But we are going to be outside of these 2 Pokestops, and we're going to pop 2 lures and be here for the duration of those lures. We have about 30 minutes left until we max out at 3 hours. So let's pop our 2 lures now. And good news, they last for 30 minutes, so let's play this out. I sat for a full half hour glued to my lures, praying for some good drops. While I definitely did get some Enigma drops, none of them were shiny. To be honest, using these lures was pretty disappointing. Even with 2 of them going for 30 minutes, I didn't feel like I was catching nearly enough to have a good chance at catching any shiny Enigmas. And just like that, 30 minutes passed by, and my lures had expired. Okay folks, well that was that. We sat for 30 minutes with 2 lures popped and caught no shinies. So this is really a big waste of a trip. I walked 2 kilometers here. I'm gonna have to walk 2 kilometers back carrying a camera and a tripod around my back. That's laborious stuff, but let's head home. I'm freaking exhausted and quite frankly a little bit disappointed. Oh my gosh, I am so freaking exhausted. The thing is I exercise a lot, and even right now, all that walking I've done for 3 days straight is starting to take a toll on my legs, and then I had the tripod on my shoulders. As stated yesterday, my car is getting inspected today, so I'm actually going to take this day, day 4, to have my rest day. Even though we're not playing, I still want to take this time to kind of reflect on the past 3 days and maybe see halfway through the week where I'm at. There's a couple things right away that I've noticed. First of all, my situation with the amount of Pokeballs that I have is just not getting better. It's For the past 3 days, it's been hovering around the 40 Pokeball amount. Another problem is I cannot hatch these eggs quick enough. I think I have hatched 3 7K eggs in the past 3 days, so I'm averaging literally a 7K egg per day. That just isn't going to cut it, you know, if I really want to increase my chances of getting shinies. I hate to say it, but I might actually have to use that 1 incubator purchase before this week is over. And in order to do that, I have to start getting a lot more Pokecoins. It just goes to show you how careful you have to be spending Pokecoins when they're earned through gameplay. You know, you can't really blow them on remote raid passes unless, you know, you bought those Pokecoins with money. In general, though, it just feels like, you know, 2 to 3 hours of play right now, it doesn't feel like enough. You know, you go out and you say, okay, I'm going to play for 3 hours today. Like, 3 hours is a lot of time. And then you play for 3 hours and it's like, well, I got a couple Staryu, but no shinies. Certainly not enough to make me feel like I had the chance of getting a shiny. And while I do have to say that that whole, like, controversy with the possible scam with Dragon Week did not carry over to Enigma Week, I don't think, it still feels incredibly hard to get a shiny Staryu. That's, if you haven't been able to tell yet, that's my goal. My goal this week is to get a shiny Staryu. Obviously, I've been shiny checking the other Enigma Week Pokemon, but Staryu is the one I want. And if I had to estimate, I've caught probably like 50 to 60 Staryu, and I've not gotten a shiny. Granted, I'm only playing 2 to 3 hours a day. I thought 2 to 3 hours a day was pretty generous, you know? During a week, I only play like 2 or 3 days a week for like maybe an hour, hour and a half. But this just is not enough time. But I'm not going to worry about that today because I'm tired. I'm not even going to open the app today. I'm not allowed to based on my rules. So I'm just going to relax, edit some content I've been needing to edit for a while, and get caught up with all my video projects. And I'll see y'all tomorrow where we're going to go out and try and catch more Staryu and other Pokemon. I'm actually gonna get this hatch in time, live on camera. Here we go. Let's see what hatches from this egg. Let's see, 2-star raid. It's a Gothita. That's what it is. I don't know how in the world I'm supposed to get unknown raids. I haven't seen one all frickin' week. And the thing is, you could argue that I haven't really been going to populated areas, but I kind of have. You know, on Magikarp Day, I went to that huge cluster area and played there. You know, I've been going down to that gym. I went up on day 2, I went to this gym, and I was looking in the app to see raids around me. And then, what do you call it? Not yesterday, but on day 3, I went over to an area that has about 3 gyms and no unknown raids. So I don't know where people are finding them, but I might have to change up my game plan completely. Catching today is going to happen at the same spot we went to on Magikarp Day. That's the best cluster around me. That area has the best spawns, has the most gyms, the most Pokestops. I feel like if I'm going to catch a shiny today, if I play there for 2 hours, I'm going to have probably the best chance of catching a shiny. But it's 1:30. I don't want to waste any more time. Let's go out and catch some frickin' Staryu.
While I was trying my best to show enthusiasm and optimism for today, I had a thought lingering deep in my mind that maybe I was wasting my time. Maybe the shiny drops are just as rare as the week prior and were near impossible to find in the wild. But I had to keep going. I committed to this experiment and already had 4 days of footage recorded. I couldn't turn back. I knew that my best chance of catching a shiny for the rest of the week was to return to the cluster spot that gave me so many shinies on Magikarp Day. After days of highs and lows, all of which being surrounded by no shiny catches, I didn't know what to expect. I had really committed to playing this week and still wasn't getting much for it. What I definitely didn't expect, however, was what happened on the way to the catching spot. Guys, holy I just freaking walked into ShopRite to pick up something like a drink to bring along the way, and look what I freaking see. Shiny Staryu, first of the freaking day. I can't believe this just happened. Holy You know, I knew it was gonna happen. I knew it was gonna happen off camera. In the IV. Oh, it's only 2 stars, but that's not a bad IV. Honestly, for a shiny, usually it's worse. That's insane. Like, that is just, it's crazy. It's crazy that that would just, oh, there's more stuff. There's another Staryu I'll check in a little bit, but that's the goal. That was the goal of the whole freaking thing. Can I catch shiny Staryu? That was my goal going into this week, and I just did it. In the first 10 minutes of play today. I mean, that's just insane. We gotta see how many we can catch. We're gonna go to freaking anyways. Let's finish out this week, boys. Just like that, I had done it. I had accomplished the goal I was beginning to believe was impossible to do. But the week wasn't over yet, and I wanted to see how many more shinies I could get. So I went right to catching.
All right, here we are at my favorite spawn cluster. I mean, we literally can't fail today. I've already caught a shiny Staryu. I can't believe it happened. And of course it would happen off camera. So let's go for it. Well, you got to get 2 hours of play in, and I'll probably do 1 hour of play later tonight. I don't know what I'm going to do later tonight, but let's worry about that when we get to it. And by the way, make sure your mask is on, because I ain't trying to get COVID from anybody. Being safe.
We started strong with doing what we'd done every other day, walking and catching. That was the name of the game. Not only did we find several Enigma Pokemon all throughout the wild, we also met some new friends along the way. While it is pretty normal to see deer around me, I've never gotten this close to them in the wild without them running off. Wow, this was pretty cool. But that high that I was riding for my shiny Staryu catch this morning was quickly dying off. No other Enigmas were popping up as shinies despite my continued catching and shiny checking. I had actually checked more Pokemon today than during any other day previously. Other problems began to arise as a result of playing during the heat of the day, which is when I headed back to my car for a break.
Holy guys, it is so freaking hot out. Oh my god, let's AC at the max because I'm dying. We got a few problems right now. First of all, my phone's overheating, so I have to kind of put it in front of the AC to get it to freaking, you know, cool down. Second problem, we're kind of running out of storage. So I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to go back and just delete anything that's not a Staryu or L-Gem. The main issue with the storage is the reason I'm not deleting all the bad Staryu yet is because I need to count them. I wasn't allowed to count the Pokemon yesterday that I caught on day 3 because that would be breaking the rules. So we have a little bit of a, you know, predicament right now. And yeah, I just need AC, and as much as I hate to do this, I'm gonna have to leave this camera back in the car because I just cannot carry this thing around my freaking neck. It is way too hot. It's either I keep my camera and get rid of my mask, or I keep my mask and get rid of the camera around my neck as I walk, and I'd rather keep my mask on. Okay, I think I'm good. Let's head out for round 2.
Round 2 would produce more of the same results though. Lots of Enigma spawns and 0 shinies as a result. It would only be so long before the heat of the sun beating down on me and the unlucky spawns would get to me. My spirits were low, so I decided to call it a day.
Okay, alright, I'm officially done. It's been 2 hours of walking out in the freaking heat of day. It says it's 94 out in my car, and the other days we've been walking it's registered higher, but I'm convinced today is hotter. I am so exhausted. It's insane. But yeah, let's get home. Let's take a freaking shower. Whew. Alright. Alright. Got a good shower in. I feel clean now. I'm not exhausted. I got fluids in my body. So unfortunately, it's 7:30 now. I missed raid hour. And what raid hour is basically it's an hour where raids are boosted, like the amount of raids happening go up. So if I had been out and about around this time, which is right around dinner time for me, which sucks, but if I'd been out and about, I probably could have found some 2-star unknown raids or, I don't know, some other raids, maybe a Staryu raid. Although I don't think Staryu is appearing in raids. I also took some time to delete some old Staryus. All of them had garbage IVs. Also, as a result of today, we are currently at 110, around 110 normal Pokeballs. That's our count. So we're finally not strapped for Pokeballs. We have enough. We finally have enough to play. In regards to that shiny catch today, though, that was kind of my goal for this week, was to get that one shiny Staryu. But, I then thought about this. What about a shiny Starmie? I want to evolve this one and get a shiny Starmie. I want both. So let's try and get 2. Let's see how many we can get. I want to get 2. I also am kind of curious still to see how the rest of the community is faring. I haven't seen any articles like that were found in Dragon Week, there was articles and videos based on how Deinos had terrible drops. I will let you know about any more progress I make tonight if I do decide to play any more. Let's get some rest. Let's do some editing. I'll see y'all later or on the next day of play.
With 45 minutes left, which I could play, I headed out for my nightly jog.
Let's go jogging.
Where I managed to hatch another 7-kilometer egg, which wasn't a shiny Staryu. That was all I could stomach for today. I just had to hope that the next 2 days wouldn't bring even more disappointment.
Obviously, Enigma week ends tomorrow on Friday. So I have to use my last rest day. I am required by my rules of the challenge to use 2. And I'm not going to use it on the last day, so I had to use it today. Now, I did debate just getting rid of this rest day because honestly, I was wondering maybe I should just, now that I have a shiny, get rid of my second rest day and see how many I can get. But no, I made these rules. I'm going to keep them. But last night, I just kind of realized something. You know, I saw some photos taken back when I did Eevee weekend, the 2 days of like Eevee Community Day. And I'm going to be honest, this week of play has had nothing in comparison to Eevee weekend. And I'm not talking about the rate of shinies, you know what I mean? Like, yes, I got a ton of shiny Eevees during that weekend, but that's not what I mean. What I'm talking about is how much fun I've had. Playing alone during this week has made the game feel like an absolute chore. If I didn't have these rest days, I would have had absolutely no fun playing the game. I can guarantee you that. I would have had no fun at all. Pokemon Go, to me, does not feel like a solo game. You need to be playing it with other people to have even more fun. You can have fun as a solo, without a doubt. I have had fun as a solo this week, but when I look back on past community days, and even GoFest, there's something missing. I need friends to share these experiences with. When I caught that shiny Staryu in my car the other day, it was like the most lonely thing ever. I had no one there to share it with. It just kind of sucks because, like, you know, I did the challenge. I got a shiny Staryu. You know how, like, that's literally one of the best ones you can get this week. You know how rare that probably is, but I don't know. Like, I don't feel that big of a sense of, like, gratification in my gut. Like, oh my gosh, I'm so excited. This is kind of why I'm deciding to not continue this into Unova week. I want to actually experience Unova week with other people and actually have fun catching those unique, you know, interesting Pokemon. But anyways, all that being said, I can't touch this app from here on out, so I'm not going to open it at all today. So yeah, I'll see you all on day 5, where I think we just go all out. We just go all out, and maybe we travel somewhere special. I don't know, we'll see. See you tomorrow. Okay, so we just got at this cluster, and I'm seeing right here, we literally just pulled in, there's an unknown raid. I have not seen an unknown raid for the entire week that I've been playing. That means right now, we could get a shiny unknown. So I'm gonna run, like, there's literally 10 minutes left in the raid. I'm going to freaking stop recording, run over there right now. I don't even have time to bring the camera. But we're gonna bush over there. You know what? F it, we're gonna bring the camera. Let's go do this raid. Alright, so we just got in range of the frickin' raid. I'm in. We're doing it. Let's see if we get a shiny unknown. Alright, we beat the unknown. Let's see what we get. Let's see if we get a shiny. Alright, so we didn't get the shiny, but we caught it at least, so that's something. We got the L. Alright, so here's our goals for today. I'm thinking we walk off the rest of those 7K eggs that we have sitting, you know, in our inventory. And we just, you know, see how many shinies we can get. Let's just see if we can get any more Staryu, if we can get a ball toy. Let's just go all out with shinies, all out with walking eggs. Let's freaking pump the iron, guys.
Strategy had gone all out the window. I had to face the fact that shiny drops were complete RNG, and the only way I was going to catch another was to find as many Enigma Pokemon as possible. Today, I would rely more on shiny checking than ever before, and would limit my catching significantly. Not that I had room in my storage to catch many Pokemon anyways. Being that this was the last day of Enigma week, I was fully confident that things could only get better from here. We had already gotten one shiny, so naturally we could only get one more from here on out, right? Well, unfortunately for me, not everything goes as planned, and not every story has a grand finale. While I started the day with high spirits, things quickly took a turn for the worse.
Y'all, I've only done like one lap. It is so freaking hot out here. This heat is gonna kill me. I've been out in the freaking 90-degree weather every single day. I'm dying, man. No shinies yet, but we're gonna keep it up.
On top of the heat, I forgot to do one crucial thing the night before. Charge my phone. After only a lap or two of walking, I was already down to 5% battery, forcing me to go back to my car. I was now unable to walk, but could still catch Pokemon spawning around me. But the problems just grew from here. While I had technical difficulties with the app in the days prior, they were all incredibly minor and worked themselves out after a few minutes. Today was something else though. For a solid 20 to 30 minutes, my character teleported all across the area, going all the way across the pond, into the middle of the pond, even to spots I didn't recognize.
Alright, it's official. Pokemon Go. Oh my god, okay. What is glitching? What's like popping up in my screen? There's just stuff flickering around. It's like some unholy demon Pokemon god is like trying to poke up through the freaking cracks of the ground, and there's just all these Pokemon are casting holy spells trying to keep it down, but it's glitching through the... Look, it happened again! What is that?
It made it incredibly hard to check for shinies. I even tried popping my second incubator allowed for the week, but that basically got wasted as my character couldn't stay in one place for longer than about a minute. Staying in my car clearly wasn't an option, so once I had enough battery, I was back out and walking. But nothing was able to repair the broken experience I had had on this final day. After hunting for just a bit longer with no shiny spawns, I was too burnt out to keep playing.
Oh, let's get this air conditioning on. We made it. We made it through the heat of Enigma week. Oh my gosh. That's it. We've been playing for like 2 hours today. I'm gonna call it here, honestly. I was gonna go till 4, but the game is having glitches. It's being laggy. No shinies are popping up. And quite frankly, it's at this point on Friday, it's become an absolute chore to play. But that's not to say that I didn't have some fun moments this week. That's not to say that I didn't get out a lot and have a lot of cool experiences. We saw those deer up close. You know, we had a lot of close encounters with wildlife. That was kind of cool. And on top of that, I got the shiny that I really wanted. So, I mean, overall, it's been a very successful week. And because it's been such a successful week, I think it calls for a little bit of celebrating. Let's go home and let's treat ourselves.
A campfire and Bailey's on the rocks was just what I needed to celebrate this week, but also think about all the different experiences that I had. As I sat by the fire on this beautiful summer night, looking up at the stars, I really digested everything that happened this week. Yes, I got the shiny I had set out to catch, but did that mean I was satisfied with my week? Well, no. That single moment of heightened joy was completely overshadowed by the constant sense of loneliness I had by playing by myself. I had tunnel visioned myself into putting all of my enjoyment into catching shinies and forgot the most important part of the game. Remember back in 2016 how many amazing experiences people were having with each other by meeting up and chasing spawns in the wild together? Those were the days, and putting all of my money on catching shinies just wasn't creating the sheer happiness that I used to have playing the game back then. All this week did was reaffirm the view I had about shiny catching. See, a lot of people were disappointed with GoFest this year because of the lack of shiny drops compared to previous years. But if we can take anything away from my experience this week, then I think we can say that if you go into playing Pokemon Go with the intention of basing how much fun you have solely on how many shinies you catch, then you're probably going to be disappointed most of the time. Basing your enjoyment of the game on something that is completely random and up to chance just seems pointless. There's the adventures we go on, the experiences we have together as players, the rush of catching a new Pokemon you've never caught before, and simply being part of an amazing community. However, that being said, we shouldn't just not hold Niantic accountable for anything. For my experiment, I can confidently say that I was able to determine that for the average player, it was very hard, nearly impossibly hard, to catch the shinies for Enigma week. Without spending money, I had to do a ton of walking just to hatch around 10 7K eggs throughout the course of a week. For me, a very in-shape person, it wasn't so hard, but that might not be the case for the average player. And even with so many Staryu popping up, only one ever crossed my screen that was shiny. Had I not pulled out my phone when stopping at the grocery store, I would have completely missed it. Throughout my 7 days of gameplay, I caught 89 total Staryu as well as 27 L-Gem, which couldn't be shiny, but still thought that was a fun stat. Along with those 89, I also shiny checked at least 100 more. So with only one shiny Staryu drop, that would make the drop rate low. Like, extremely low. So maybe these shinies were nearly impossible to claim. Or maybe I was just getting insanely unlucky. We'll never know for sure unless we actually see the release drop rates, which so far Niantic is keeping behind closed doors. But I think we can take away two things from this week. Not only does Niantic need to be a lot more transparent to the community when it comes to things like drop rates, we also have to start realizing that there are more things to the game than the shiny Pokemon. Criticize the game for its faults, sure, but don't forget what it does well. Under the night sky, I let these thoughts come and go. I sipped my Baileys and watched the fire burn on. And as the flames died out, so did the challenge of Enigma Week. Ladies and gentlemen, thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next one. Take care.